Hello, Lumineers, and welcome to the LUMEN Project. I am Dr. Helene, clinical psychologist. Today, I'm on my way to a 2-day abundance workshop with Robin Parr. She's an intuitive energy healer, and she specializes in helping entrepreneurs and business owners to really scale and access that abundance. It's definitely something I need right now at the start of my project. So let's go meet her. Hi, Robin. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. So I guess I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell me what it is that you do.
Hi. It's exciting to be here. It's great to talk to you. My name is Robin Parr. I was born in the United States, and I've spent about 25 years of my life living in Amsterdam, the Netherlands.
Amazing.
I've been working for the past 10 years as an energy healer, as a medical intuitive. What is a medical intuitive, right? But I've developed my psychic senses so that I can scan inside bodies. I can see, sense, and feel what kinds of blocks people have, traumas. I work with someone's energy in getting rid of blocks that might be there in the way of money. People want to make more money. They have some kind of income cap, or there's something going on with their relationship, and they constantly go back into the same loop of, he wants this, I get annoyed, then we get into a fight. So getting rid of blocks in relationships. And also people come to me with health issues,
Yeah.
like breast cancer they're dealing with, or they have some kind of mineral deficiency. And then we work on uncovering what kinds of deficiencies or lack someone might be having in their body, or being able to absorb certain things. And then I can shift that as well.
Wow, that's amazing. So just through, say, meeting me, you can read like my body or my energy and see what's off, or is it a bit more complicated than that?
Definitely. And let's say if I meet you, we're just,
You
thanks. We just meet each other somewhere. I'm not reading you. So I will just use your body language and interact with you. But if you come to me and I'm working with you in a session, then I'll definitely go and scan inside your body. If you have questions about physical things, I will scan inside your body, and I'll actually get lots of information about what kind of blocks there are, what's going on. But also we do a lot of conversation, and I find out what's going on with your relationship, or what's going on with, your financial situation. And then from there, I can uncover all kinds of what's off, where the weakness is or where the blocks are.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that's really amazing. So is there a link then between some blocks in the body that show up in the body and then, say, a block with receiving money or receiving love?
Always. Yeah, almost always. Your body is it's the supercomputer. So your body is the most wise part of you.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue is, and you see this with people who have certain kinds of, they have a neck pain, or they have some kind of heart issue, is that there's somewhere where the communication is missing, is off.
Right.
And they're not able to hear the message the body's trying to give them. So let's say you have an issue with your heart. The source of it might actually be a money block. It might be that you, like you say, have a hard time receiving, and then it's showing up as a physical thing. So we always look at where the body is trying to give a message that could be showing up with your relationship or with the, finances. And that's the whole puzzle, is like, what does one have to do with the other?
Okay, amazing. Okay, that's really interesting, and I'm looking forward to diving into my blocks later. Okay, so have you had sort of amazing stories of transformation where you've really been able to unblock somebody, and then they've been able to receive the abundance or the goal that they've been searching for?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people come to me with money things. They want to make more money. They earn a certain amount and they want to make a whole bunch more, or they have these certain dreams. Like, I've always wanted to go travel in South America for 6 months, and I have a job that keeps me somewhere else, right? Or there's certain kinds of, I wish this would happen, and this isn't happening yet. So one woman, I love her. We've been working for years, and she started out earning a certain amount, like 20,000 a month. And she said, okay, I want to earn more. And every time we worked, we would clear things. By now, her goal is around 80 to 100K a month.
Yeah.
And she's not working harder, obviously. But if you have a certain, let's say your father earned a certain amount,
Yeah.
and subconsciously you have a certain cap
Yeah.
at what feels okay for your income.
Mm-hmm.
So subconsciously you keep blocking yourself to make any more than that.
Yes.
And with this one, for example, we keep clearing relationships with her father anywhere where there's kind of jealousy of others, that if you earn so much, you know, people get jealous. So she would block herself there. And we worked for years. A lot of my clients come and we stay for years because they get more and more and they want more and more.
Yeah, maybe more money.
Right. Yeah, more money, right? Because, yeah, invest in something and then it can expand.
Yeah.
There's another one. This was I did a body process. So sometimes people come to me in person in Amsterdam. Or like now I'm in Thailand, I will do in-person body processes. And I had a guy come to me and he said, I've been having this pain in under my ribs for years. And I've gone to osteopaths, massage therapists, physiotherapists, and all these things that I've done, no one can help me. And he was working in a hospital in a certain position where he was clearly, in my world, I could sense that he was taking on a lot of trauma of the patients that came. So I laid him down. I ran a body process. What that means is I put my hands on somebody and I ask for a certain energy to run from, let's say, through my body. And like I could teach you this process just by putting my hands on you, telling you what the shortened version is, MTVSS and all the rest, run. You can feel that energy and then you already have access to being able to run it with somebody.
Amazing.
So I did this with the guy, 5 minutes, maybe 10 max. Sometimes people come for sessions and they stay for an hour, but he was really quick. And he got up and he said, wow, the pain is like 90% gone. And mostly what I was doing was releasing the energy from all the clients or patients that he had taken the pain on from. And a week or two later, I forgot about it, right? You know, sometimes you see people and then you go on and I forgot. 2 weeks later, I saw him at a movement class and he said, I don't know what you did to me, but after that, he said, I had a emotional and a physical release that night, woke up bawling, had a huge physical release. And he said, I quit smoking hash, which I've been smoking since I was 14. I don't have any desire to smoke it. It's like gone. It wasn't something we were working on or focusing on. But he said the pain that I'd been dealing with, that's gone. But also these other side effects have happened too.
Amazing. And so do you think he was kind of maybe smoking was partly to ease some of that tension that was in his body, which then got healed?
It could have been, but also I think most of the things that are addictions have to do with when your mind keeps telling you that it doesn't know how to solve this pain, but also it doesn't know how to deal with all the trauma that you're dealing with daily with patients. And the only way to deal with something you can't understand is to numb it. For him, it was like, I'm seeing all this, I'm feeling, because he's very sensitive, and nobody told him you're sensitive, right? A lot of people don't realize that they're picking up on everybody's stuff. So once he understood that, then he could let that go, and then he didn't need to smoke.
Amazing. Okay, so you cleared his physical symptoms. A bonus was that he stopped smoking. And then did anything change then in his income or his business or anything in his environment?
Since then, I know he's gotten a different job. He's been promoted. He took on a different job. But the biggest thing was that his girlfriend started having income grow.
Wow.
So then she started coming to me because often when partners are together, if one of the partners has some kind of blocks or weaknesses around abundance or money, then the other person will have a hard time making more. And once we solve the partner's blocks, and we can do that without the partner ever knowing, then the other one will unconsciously, they'll start making more money.
Wow.
And that's how we are always affecting one another.
Wow.
So especially with abundance, when we deal with it, we always look at the whole family, mother, father, your partner, maybe children even. There can be certain weaknesses in your own receiving. And when we strengthen that, then you can make more money. That's the funny thing. We always look at, if you have a bucket and there's a hole somewhere, we're always looking where the hole is, where the weakness is. And then once we get that not to be weak, patch it, then basically the bucket can be full and the money can come.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. And I think that resonates quite a lot with what I'm going through at the moment. My husband's going through a period of transition. He's had some health issues. And I have felt like I'm slipping a bit into a scarcity mindset, or I'm worrying that we're not going to be okay. Whereas previous, I just felt really confident, oh, everything's going smooth. And then business was coming in thick and fast. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
And also when you share that, I'm reminded of when illness comes along or health problems, then it activates in us all kinds of programs of, let's say, scarcity, or all the times in all the lifetimes that we died, right? We got sick, or our partner died, or we were left with a lot of kids and no support. So it'll activate something ancient in our DNA, or also maybe our families.
Yeah.
So it's something I see with new parents. I have some clients who are going to have a baby in a few months. And the moment she got pregnant, all of his father programs, where he started acting out all kinds of things like his father, came up, where he was like, what is this? I was free. I was happy. It was a great relationship. And then once she got pregnant, I noticed I'm acting like my dad.
Yes.
So when someone gets sick, they'll act like, I don't know, all the other times when someone was sick, scarcity, trauma. And if something else happens, like a big life event, like a pregnancy or a baby, then it's like your mother program turns on, or for men, your father program turns on.
Yeah, 100%. And I definitely feel that happened to me. So thank you for naming that, because my mum worries a lot. She's a bit of a stressy person. So he's got sick. And I'm usually kind of like, everything's going to be okay. And all of a sudden, I found myself turning into my mum, like, oh my goodness, I'm vulnerable. Oh my God, are we going to have money? And just like batten down the hatches. Let's just try and be as safe and secure as possible. But that's not usually how I flow through life. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Nice. So I was just wondering, it sounds like you've had a lot of success in what you do and you're able to make amazing transformation. Have there been times where it's been challenging? Like maybe there's been a block, something's just not gone well in your work?
Well, I'm just going to share about something that I experienced. People come to me for money, right? They want to make more money, and I can help people make a lot more money. And with myself, there was this credit card debt that was following me for 30 years. And in the past few years, I got some clarity, like my dad's father committed suicide when he was about 9. And the story we think that happened was that his father was a farmer, had taken a loan out from the bank for a tractor. That year they had a drought. And so without enough money to feed the family or whatever, or to pay back for the tractor, he ended up killing himself.
Oh,
So I worked on that in all my, energy healing ways many times. I also worked on my financial income caps. I was doing all the things to be able to make more money. And for some reason, it wasn't shifting. Finally, when I cleared some karma, it was really simple. Like some process I'll work with you on. For me, I just cleared some karma, some direct karma with my grandfather, some indirect karma, and some partially indirect karma. I just got all the karmas, right? Cleared them. And within days, I received a check. And the funny thing was, it came through my dad. My dad gave me a check, was like, what do you call it? Like a tax-free gift.
okay.
Don't wait until we die. Here's money already for the kids, right? So he gave me a check for more than the credit card amount.
Wow.
And it wasn't like I just cleared the karma done, but it was like the person who it was related to came and, let's say, neutralized the karma.
So it sort of came full circle.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's amazing. So I guess as an energy worker or as an abundance coach, probably you felt like you should be able to pay off this credit card debt, maybe.
Definitely.
and then it wasn't happening, and you must have been questioning why, and then all of a sudden it gets neutralized, you get the money back, and you're like, oh wow, okay, this does work.
Yeah, and not only that, but as a practitioner, like I just had someone who said she feels like a failure because she can't help her children. But as a practitioner, the trickiest things to deal with is yourself or the people you love the closest, right? And trying to help them, but you have the same programs or patterns, or you have the same issues going on.
Yeah,
So trying to see your own blocks,
it can be really hard.
like where's the mirror? I
Yeah,
can't see. Yeah.
I definitely relate to that as well as a therapist, because obviously I feel a lot of pressure to like have my life in order and to be perfect and to be thriving. And sometimes, of course, I do feel down or whatever. And then in the end, usually things are okay. But it is, I don't know, I guess it's a comfort to know that other people have those blind spots or those areas that they're still working on.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I just had one question about money. So I think it's wonderful that we can talk about money and kind of maybe embrace the abundance of money. But I've got to say, there is something in my programming that tells me it's bad, it's selfish to covet money, to want too much or more than your fair share. I just wondered what your thoughts are on that.
Great. I love that you bring it up. So it's like twofold. I was a yoga teacher that had to develop my psychic senses. And then on top of all that, I started focusing on money. So spirituality and money are often two things that people don't want to combine, right?
Yeah.
However, we all need money and we all love it.
Yes.
To be able to do things with it.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I had to clear in order to do the work I do were all the programs around religion and being judged by, I was raised Catholic, so my father was a deacon, and it was like, if you did something wrong, God wouldn't love you, you wouldn't go to heaven, right? You'd go to hell. And a lot of us are raised with weird beliefs like money is the root of all evil. And if you're doing God's work, or you're doing something spiritual, or even helping people, you wouldn't call it spiritual as a psychologist, but you would call it serving people. Most people say it's not okay to receive a lot of money for it or to get paid. It's greedy. So they try to separate it.
They sign the vow of poverty and stuff as well. It's like a big, in Catholicism, it's like a big deal, right? To be poor, to be humble, it's kind of revered almost.
Exactly. There were so many of those vows that I would be having moments of awareness going, oh, I need to clear a vow of poverty. I need to clear a vow of humility. I need to clear this vow. There were so many vows that had to be cleared because how much of the pride or the unconscious, energy was like, don't make too much money.
Yeah.
Don't let people see you be successful. And it's usually also what you see your parents doing. So if your parents showed you wealthy people are judgeable, they're rich and greedy, or I work really hard, so I'm a good person.
Yeah.
And money is just a byproduct. Rather than saying, I bet there's ways that we don't have to work so hard and make a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also made me think of I think it's a British saying, but the Protestant work ethic,
Right.
That's really the good thing, right? To toil and to get money that's well deserved.
Well, even Barack Obama was known to say, we in America if you work really hard, then you'll become successful. Like why can't you just become really successful? Like, why do you, most of us in most cultures combine struggling and working hard, and then it's okay that you earn money.
Yeah.
Rather than now, when that's what we see, is there's a shift where you go, wait, I don't have to work hard. I can allow money to come to me, and I can also have, be worthy as myself without having to prove I'm, worthy of other people's love, and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
challenge those limiting beliefs that maybe we inherited from our parents or from society. Okay, cool. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's make it right. Okay, amazing. So I guess it's amazing to hear the transformation that you're able to do, but obviously not everyone's got access to you. Like, how does it work? How do you affect change? And how could a listener maybe start on this journey of opening up abundance and clearing some blocks for themselves?
I'm just going to teach you So one of the methods I'm using lately is called the Ewan method.
Okay.
I looked it up. It's hard to find information on it.
Do
But
you want to spell it?
good. Yuen, Ewan
Okay. Yep.
method is from a guy named Ken Ewan. He was this Chinese chiropractor, energy worker, also was a kung fu master. And basically the premise is that everything is strong or weak. You're strong or weak to everything.
Okay.
So I can be strong to you,
Mhm.
and I can be weak to my son, for example. So anytime we notice we're weak to something, we'll want to strengthen it.
Yes.
So let's say I'm weak to you, then I can just delete, and it's really this simple. I focus on my midline, so the space, and my spine, and I do a quick, almost like a lightning bolt of just like, okay, I'm going to delete a weakness. Boom.
Okay. Shall I think of one?
Say it again.
Shall I think of a weakness that I'm currently dealing with?
Okay.
Maybe to a person or?
Yeah, is there somebody you... Okay, and let me explain a little bit more about weakness.
Yeah.
It's like a feeling, I mean, just to give an example, if you tense your muscle, like you squeeze your fist, that's strong.
Yeah.
And the moment you release it, that's weak.
Yeah.
Some modalities think of it as light or heavy.
Yes.
So if you think of something, there's a feeling of almost like your whole body is kind of tense, like in a strong way. And the weakness will be, or a heavy might feel like you collapse.
Okay.
Or energy.
So I think I've got a good example then. So I think when I think about growing my business, I've got this like heavy feeling of not being a good enough mom or not being like available enough to my kids.
Perfect.
While they're
Okay.
small.
This is a really common one, that if I'm a successful female business owner, it's going to take away from my kids. Okay. So when you say that, I use my intuition and I feel for the weakness. And the weakness isn't about your business, but the weakness is about motherhood and your projections and assumptions, or let's say pictures of what motherhood should be.
100%. Yeah.
So then I would, just on your midline, I will delete that weakness. It's this quick. I just go delete the weakness. Yeah. Boom.
Let it go. Doesn't serve me anymore.
And then I would strengthen you to being a mother that can have a business and have children be happy.
Yeah.
So strengthening to both. So it's really that simple. Delete and then strengthen.
Nice.
You can delete really simple things. Like, let's say you notice that every time you drive your car, you have a weak, like you feel tired or drained.
Yeah.
So you can so simply just delete the weakness to your car. Some people say, every time I wake up, I'm tired. I'll delete their weakness to their bed. Sometimes their weakness is to being horizontal. Sometimes the weakness is to their actual room. So I will simply just delete the weakness they have to whatever is making them wake up tired. And then I'll strengthen them to being horizontal, strengthen them to nighttime. Like, we can have weaknesses to spaces, places, times, right? Things, activities. And it's as simple as deleting the weakness and strengthening for kind of the opposite.
Nice.
The more specific you are to the weakness, the deeper the shifts.
Ooh, okay.
So you can do a really, like a shallow, let's say, okay, just delete any weakness you have to a country, let's say to Thailand.
Yeah.
And then we can strengthen you to Thailand. But let's say every time you go into a Thai grocery store that smells like cleaning detergent, you have a weakness to your olfactory senses.
Okay.
But you wouldn't really know that. Maybe someone else would help you go, oh, there's weakness in your sense, your sense of smell. And we'd strengthen that. You might get a little, like a good shift just from, the country. But when we go deeper, you get an even deeper and more impactful shift, let's say.
Okay. So that's really interesting. So let's say I'm having a business meeting and I'm not available to pick up my kids from school, and I feel like a weakness of, I'm not showing up for my kids, I'm not there for them 100% of the time. I could kind of delete that, punishing feeling I might give
Definitely.
myself.
It's perfect. I would see it as, what is the weakness here? Is my judgment, my criticism about myself. And when I delete things, this is something to note, I delete the cumulative effects to 100% infinite potential. So I go like all the way back, all the cumulative effects of that weakness of judgment, let's say. and then I strengthen to 100% infinite potential.
Okay.
So, like you said, if you get aware, I'm in a meeting, I can't pick up my kids, and you delete the cumulative effects of all the times you judged yourself, then it's usually quite clear. You sit there and go, okay, but I can't, so let me call someone who can pick up my kids.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And also, I feel like, especially as a mum, you're also kind of judged the other way. So, if I never did a business meeting, or I never took the work, or I never fulfilled my dreams, then there's another kind of critical feeling that comes in. And I guess, again, I can use the same method to delete that judgment and that critical voice or feeling.
And again, that would be like deleting the cumulative effects, and it would, when I hear it, it's less about the judgment, and it's more about being it's like being lazy or being useless, or it's more of a self-worth kind of stuff. So deleting any cumulative effects of feeling lazy, worthless, not living your life purpose, like kind of the conversation about yourself.
And that's been really helpful to hear, actually, because I think definitely in my work, I feel this pressure to be amazing at motherhood, business, basically everything.
Yeah.
And so I feel like my internal critic is quite strong. And this is a helpful framework to think, you know what, you can delete that because it doesn't really serve you. You can release it and then just do what you're doing anyway. I love it. Okay.
Let me say something, because I've done many, many years of different modalities, and most of the modalities I've done, and maybe you too as a psychologist, have been to go really to the root of trauma. A lot of processing trauma, a lot of tears, usually feeling it. You got to feel it to heal it. And it's only more recently that I'm working with this method of just delete and strengthen.
Yeah, because someone's probably thinking, I've been in therapy for 2 years.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You're just going to delete it like
What
that?
a nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can just delete it. And that's the thing that I'm somebody that, okay, let me try it. And if it works, here we go, right?
Yeah.
So I tried it. And the amount of shifts I had in the shortest amount of time were so in my face clear. Like I couldn't brush it off and say, nah, it's not working. They worked so instantaneously and so quickly that I thought, okay, this is crazy. I don't feel angry, upset, and charged like I did, It went away really fast. I really feel neutral or less agitated. Something's really working.
Yeah.
So even though, and I think most people will hear this and go, are you
Whatever.
kidding? This is so easy. This is stupid. It's so simple. Are we really just going to wish away our problems? But especially with this method, I say, try it and see what happens.
Yeah. And I must say, I'm quite scientific. And so we've just done our workshop together, which has been amazing, just a couple of hours. And then I bumped into somebody who was an old client of mine. And I actually felt a little bit nervous bumping into them because I thought, oh, you only came for one session. Like, did you not like me? And I never heard from them again. And they're like, oh, sorry, we never followed up. Like, actually, you fixed our problem in one session and it was great. Thank you. And so it was just, for me, it was so instantaneous because it was something that I've been battling with. Like, am I good enough? Am I offering as much value as I say I am? And then instantaneously, I felt I got my answer. And I felt that was really, that was too much of a coincidence for it to not be linked to the work that you and I had just done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
Yeah. And the best part is like, oh, just wait for, the next few hours. What happens when you get home and what happens at your home? Like the amount of results I've had in the shortest amount of time, I keep writing my friend and saying, I'm not getting in the same fights with my partner as I used to. I'm able to laugh so much more. I just have so much more fun with life.
Yes.
Like I really feel, let's say, neutral. And my fear was always neutral means apathy. I don't care.
Yeah.
But the more neutral I get, the more I realize I can manifest what I want because I'm not so attached and holding on to it being there, not being there, right? It's just like if it comes, it does. If it doesn't, whatever.
Yes.
So having to let go a lot of my dreams that I was going for and my passions, because now I'm much more okay with whatever happens is fine.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and it's making me think, a good friend of mine once said, I love how you like tread lightly through the world and you don't let things kind of just get you down. And I think I was in a high energy state at that time because, definitely at the moment I'm not in that space. I'm actually feeling a bit scarce and I want to hold on to things for control and for safety. And so I guess that, I don't know, in the way I'm interpreting it, it's like, yeah, just tread lightly. Don't get too attached to things going right or wrong. Don't judge yourself too harshly. Just move with, I don't know, the what's meant to be. How would
Yeah.
you put it?
Well, when I hear that, because I'm listening always from strength and weakness, right?
Yes.
So I'm actually listening to and going like, what I hear is a weakness with your partner when he is, let's say, having some health issues. Rather than you being able to tread lightly and, you know, go with the flow, there's a weakness to feeling it's almost like your boundaries aren't strong because it's affecting you more than you would want it to.
Yes.
So you get like, you collapse, and so you get worried. Rather than your boundaries being strong, it's one of the geometric figures, your inner and outer dynamics, your inner and outer boundaries, so that whatever happens with him, you're good.
Yes.
And you can tread lightly and go with the flow, right?
Yeah. I think you're spot on. I think when things are good and he's well, there's this sort of codependency, but it's fine because he's doing great. So I'm just reaping the benefits. But if he's not amazing, then all of a sudden I feel like I lose my anchor or my support because I'm not really standing on my own 2 feet.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I think maybe this is a nice segue into kind of what I want to delve deeper into with you, about how I can level up, grow this business, stand a bit more on my own 2 feet. Because I definitely feel our talk is timely. I've been struggling a bit, thinking about giving up, thinking about whether I'm good enough, thinking about whether I'm going to say the wrong thing, whether I'm credible enough. Lots of self-limiting beliefs have been coming through at the moment, and I've been so excited about our talk to see if you can fix me.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, so I'm just going to start with, just going to go into certain aspects of it.
Yes.
So again, when you talk about business, I open up my awareness and the weakness goes to your partner.
Okay.
So I'm going to delete any weakness to your interaction or your relationship with him, and also the energy from you to him with finances as well. And I'm going to strengthen your inner and outer boundaries. Okay. So it's a geometric foundation triad. I'm going to strengthen that so that you're strong. All parts of you are strong, regardless of what happens with him. I'm also going to delete any weaknesses you have about and the cumulative effects of judgment, self-judgment, not being good enough, the projection, because you're very aware. You're aware of people seeing you and judging you, and people that you're around, you're very aware and picking that up. So we're going to delete all the cumulative effects of judgment, projection from your past, and also into your future.
Nice.
And then we're going to strengthen you to being seen, visible, and judged with neutrality. Whatever they think or feel about you, it's not about you, right? It's theirs, and you're neutral. As far as about being on your own 2 feet, standing on your own 2 feet, we're going to delete any weakness you have to being an independent woman. So financially independent, or having money come through you and it being a contribution to the family. So deleting any weakness there, and strengthen your receiving, your abundance triad as well, so that you're able to receive money, you're able to receive abundance, and that it's strong for not just your partner receiving money, but you receiving money, and those both being strong in the family.
Yes.
Okay, so now just checking in. How's it feel?
It feels good. I guess I feel like, so something's coming up about my ethnicity still that's not quite gone away. So I had sort of 2 things. So yeah, one is that I've always felt a little different because I've tended to grow up in like these white environments, and I've always felt as though I had to be so perfect or so amazing in order to be like good enough and accepted, like almost as though I had to try harder. And this is as a kid, right? So obviously now I try not to carry that on, but this was a belief I think I made when I was younger. I also have another example though that came up more in adulthood, again about race. I remember I was in a car with some acquaintances and we went past this high-end luxury car shop, and someone was like, oh, wow, who can afford those cars? And then one of the acquaintances was like, oh, well, I guess you couldn't be black or something like that. I was like full on racist. But I was like, wow, okay. So it just really highlighted to me this, I don't know, limitation maybe I put on my worth because of my ethnicity, and then even more so because of my gender.
Okay, yeah, and then gender. So we're going to delete all the cumulative effects of racial, let's say, projection, judgment, and discrimination. And then I'm going to clear it on as direct karma, indirect karma, and partially indirect karma for all your lifetimes and all your ancestors' lifetimes. And while we're at it, I'm just going to black hole all that. Totally gonna.
Oh, I love to shake.
Yeah, exactly. It feels good too,
Yeah, it feels
especially
good.
when the energy's moving. Also, then the other layer of that is all the judgment of being a woman, being less as a woman. And it's almost like I keep seeing in your world, it's not like woman, man, it's like man's up here, woman's down here.
Yeah.
So again, deleting all the cumulative effects of all the imbalance in gender this lifetime and all your ancestors' lifetimes. Karma, declaring that, delete that, and then strengthening you for equality as a woman, also equality in finances, and being able to be you without having to overdo things or excel in order to be seen or loved.
Yes.
So we're going to also delete all the cumulative effects of your childhood of comparing.
Yes.
You
I'm
comparing
literally
yourself
taking the words out of my mouth. Yes.
and others comparing you with them, and also others you feeling like you need to prove your worth in order to feel good enough. So and this strengthen you to having innate worth but without having to prove it.
Yes.
Okay, now check in. How does that feel?
Yes, there's just one residual bit. So literally, I was about to open my mouth and you were saying what I want to say, but I think it's also for me to have faith that I don't need to necessarily be equal to a man, but trust that I can achieve my own goals, like my own way, because I know that I can't achieve success the exact same way as my husband or somebody else, but to have faith that I could do it myself using my kooky energy, or I don't know. So I always doubt myself. If it's not working well, I'm like, oh, I should be doing it like that person. But when I try and do it like that person, it never works for me.
Right. Which is a good thing, right? That you find that out, that it's always got to go your way. So let's delete all the cumulative effects of failure, of doubt, of things not working out, of having to be shown again and again that it didn't work. And also all the times you doubted yourself and the negative impact. So the emotions, sensations, and feelings that created in doubting yourself. Delete that. And let's also strengthen, because I see it in your mother, so we're going to strengthen your mother for her doubting herself, because there's the weakness. So we're always looking for where's the actual weakness. We're going to strengthen her for that. And then strengthen you to being creatively, financially, and business-wise thriving, strong. Okay, now check in. How does that feel?
Good. I guess I do feel a little bit wobbly, almost like the foundations on which I held certain beliefs have just sort of gone.
Good. Okay. Say more.
So that's good.
It's normal, right?
Maybe the cognitive bit of me is like, okay, but now the how. So I do feel different, a bit wobbly, like, okay, you've removed some of these things that I felt were true, but now how do I proceed?
Okay, so we're going to delete your mind and we're going to strengthen your physical intelligence. So basically out of your mind into your body. And we're going to strengthen you to know when is the right time, with whom is the right time, what is the right thing, without having to see in advance or be ready in advance, but knowing at the time what feels strong.
Nice.
Okay, so checking in. Because
Yes.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
I love how what happens is we start clearing something and then we clear stuff off, but then there's residue of stuff that still remains. It's totally opposite. It's totally different stuff, right? And there's layers, and once we're just going to keep checking until it's gone.
Nice.
I want to make sure always that someone, leaves like clear. So
Yes.
now checking in.
Yeah, no, this was much better. And I'm called. So before we started speaking, I pulled like an oracle card, and it was all about support. And it was like, you are supported. And I just feel that maybe sometimes I felt like I've had to know all the answers. I've had to have a plan and execute it. And I guess what you're giving me permission to do is like just to move through, maybe be open, have faith that the universe or something is supporting me and making the right connections and things aligning for me.
And there's one thing, because you say you kind of bop around the world, like when you're in your best,
Yeah.
you're kind of bopping around
Yeah.
and like things just happen.
Yes.
So we're going to delete any weakness to you being different.
Okay.
And any weakness to you perceiving yourself as different, an outsider, not doing it like everyone else, like almost like a rebel. And we're going to strengthen you for that uniqueness.
Thanks.
So that you can bop around and know that that's how you work.
Yeah.
Like that's your strength, is the
Yes.
light going to, right place, right time.
Yeah.
Strong.
And for me, this is calling into mind. So I mentioned before we started filming that my husband was this like famous rugby player, and I've always felt like it's sort of by accident that he chose me or married me. I know it's sad, but yeah, I guess I sometimes feel like I'm not good enough. Like, I don't know, I'm too flippant, or I don't know, not successful enough or not beautiful enough. And I do sometimes spend time worrying that I'm not good enough for him. And I don't know, there was just something that you said about just owning that energy of like who I am and leaning into it that feels comforting.
And this is the thing that most people find in relationships, is that there's something about their partner. It could be something they're working out together. There's something they're learning. There's maybe something that reminds them of the parents that they're working through, and they're learning more of themselves with that person. And with him, it could be as simple as there's something about you, there's something about him that you both needed to learn from one another.
Yeah.
And the reason you're together has nothing to do with your light flippant, but it's actually a deeper promise you made before you came of learning together something, developing.
Yeah. I don't know why it's making me feel emotional, but yeah. And I think some of these themes maybe of not feeling good enough, maybe in my relationship, probably started a bit in my family. So my mum was always wanted us to be the best. So my brother and I went to Oxford and Cambridge, and then my dad was really successful, an ambassador, and my brother was a doctor. And I guess I've spent my whole life feeling like my flippancy or my light, it's not flippant, that's not the right word. My lightness. My bubbliness was unimportant. And what's more important is the work, the grind.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't really express it into words, but there's some healing that's happened there, some like shifts. I just feel a bit more like accepting, and I think that's why I feel a bit emotional about it.
Yeah. And just something about that, I want to clear that last part, is it's again that comparison. So deleting all the weakness, and this is not just in you, but it's in your mother also comparing, your father comparing, your brother comparing.
Yeah.
So deleting all the weakness of comparison that was in your family, let's say on all the levels. And of course, we need to try harder, or because we're immigrants or we're Black or whatever, we need to try harder to be better.
Yeah.
So deleting also that need to do more, be more in order to be loved or seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the strength in you for really seeing your worth, but also your own value, your uniqueness, exactly as you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you just mentioned something that's important, is because my parents are mixed race, and 38 years ago that was still relatively unusual. So I think it's not just that I was Black, but I didn't really feel at home anywhere or belonging. So I think it's sort of realizing that I felt I had to overcompensate in order to be accepted. And I for whatever reason, whatever we've spoken about, it's just made me sort of realize that. And that, yeah, I guess I can maybe just accept myself, and I don't know.
Often that's because of not you, but the person, your father or your mother, not being able to accept themselves. So again, we're going to just delete their weaknesses because your mother, your children don't listen to your words. They listen to how you feel. So if you tell them things about how to be worthy, it doesn't really matter. But if you don't feel worthy to them, they sense you if you feel worthy, right? So as a child, if your mother didn't feel like she belonged, even if she was, I don't know, white in a certain environment, if she didn't feel like she belonged somewhere, like she didn't feel home in her own body, you would have picked that up and felt it yourself as well, or your dad, right? That feels more like your mom. But so we delete the weakness there with your mother, and we strengthen you to feeling at home wherever you are.
Yeah. And I think that that's probably right, because I think my mum would, for example, if we went to the Caribbean, so she spent 6 years in the Caribbean as like the only kind of white woman in the area, and had to adjust to that. And yeah, I think you're right, it comes from that side. So we're going to end soon, but I was curious about your body reading and running the energy through the body. And I don't know if this is a long process or if it's something we can quickly touch upon before we end.
Like you want to learn how the energy feels?
Yeah, so you were saying at the beginning, you were saying that you cleared that guy's pain. And I just wonder, is it something we could talk about, or is it a long process?
Well, okay, so the process that I use a lot is called MTVSS. And it's shortened for like molecular something valence slothing system. I don't, it's a longer name, right? Yeah. But when I say MTVSS and all the rest, because there's other energy processes combined in this MTVSS one, then I say run, run, run. And then I use a clearing statement. It basically gets the energy running. So basically, like I could just touch you. And if you were on my massage table, I would ask your body, where does she want this process? And it might say your liver and kidney. So I might put my hand under your liver and kidney, or it might be like under your neck and under your pelvis. So I might just hold my hands there. And so when I sit, I run the energy. And I've tried Reiki, I've learned it, but it wasn't really something that I felt akin to. But when I learned this energy, it was kind of like, oh, okay. And when I run it, I basically don't feel anything. But I ask for awareness, like what's happening with the person. And people come back and say, I don't know what you did, but I got all kinds of clients, and my husband paid a loan back that he hadn't paid in 5 years. And I had a launch for $45,000 with effortless, what happened? And for me, it's always kind of like, oh, interesting. I just ran some body process.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
It feels effortless. And so it's really simple. I can run it once, and the moment I run it with you, you know it.
Okay.
Let me explain something. My husband and I were going to separate, and I couldn't manifest a new home. I was in the house still with my ex-husband now, and my 13, maybe 9-year-old son at the time. And I couldn't understand why we couldn't get a new place. Like I wanted to leave, right? We were done. And a woman said to me, Truth, are you ready to move? And I was like, yes. She said, Truth, is your son ready to move? And I got kind of like, I don't know. So I asked him, and he said, no. And I said, oh, why not? And he said, because when you're alone, you're angry. And when Papa's alone, he's angry. So what I did was I taught him this process. I said, here's this body process. Run it on Papa and run it on me. So my 9-year-old son took the energy. He just said MTVSS and all the rest. Run, Papa. He held his hands on his dad's head. Yeah. And his dad started crying, and he said, this is what I'm aware of, whatever. Wow. He did the same on me. And what I became instantly aware of was all this emotion I felt, all this anger wasn't even mine, right? It was my mother's or something. Yeah. And I could basically take it off and park it. But that's what my son needed, to have a tool to be able to help us with, our emotions.
Wow. So at 9 years old, he was able to say
MTVSS and all the rest. Yeah.
Run. And then that energy.
And he just holds the energy.
Wow.
Kids are amazing at this.
Yes.
And within about 2 days, I had a new apartment.
Wow.
Another one, I mean, just on this,
Mm-hmm.
because kids are amazing. I said to a friend, hey, my son can run something. Do you want to feel it? And she was like, yeah, sure. She sat down on the floor and he sat down on the couch and put his hands on
Yeah.
her. MTVSS and all the rest of
Yeah.
run. She slumped over. And we thought she was joking. We thought she was playing, like, funny, right? And after like a minute, I said, hey, I said her name, wake up. And she kind of came to and she said, what just happened? And we were like, what do you mean? She's like, what just happened? Like he touched her and she went unconscious.
Wow.
And sometimes people need to go unconscious to get consciousness in, but it was basically like she was out while he ran that process for a minute, let's say 2 minutes.
Wow.
So it's an easy thing to learn. Once you feel it, you know it. All it takes is having the awareness basically to run it on somebody. But sometimes people come to me and they just want to run that energy. It helps for abundance. It helps with pains. It helps with weird. I can't figure out why my health has an issue. It's all kinds of unexplicable things.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And are you able to like run it through me, or is it like does it take time, or?
Well, I mean, I can just let you feel the energy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to want to shift something, it would take, I would give you longer, 5, 10, an hour, let's say.
Right, yeah. Okay.
So just feeling, it's like Reiki, right? Where someone maybe does
Like a
Reiki on you
taste
and
of
you
it.
feel it.
Yeah.
But actually to receive the process, you'd want more time.
Yeah. But could we do like a little taster, like a 1 minute thing, or do you feel like it's not useful?
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on, I run the energy and then you can already sense it. Okay.
So I close my eyes or anything?
Yeah, you can close your eyes. So, okay. MTVSS and all the rest. Run, good, bad, right, wrong, pop off. All none of our spaces, Christians and heal. Okay. So tell me, what did you experience or what did you perceive?
So I just felt a little bit of energy coming up this side, and then this side not feeling very energized. And then I felt like a tiny bit sick, maybe, but not too much. Just like it was like I had to burp or something. That's how I felt.
And often, let's say I'm working with someone, I might ask. So oftentimes people have some kind of, I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know why, I don't know this. This is like, blah, right?
Yes.
And when I run this process, it's almost like taking a harness off somebody. And the harness being all kinds of projections and feelings and emotions and I don't know what, blah. And the moment you can remove it, let's say, it's almost like you're able to perceive yourself. Oh, this is how I'm feeling, or this is my energy.
Yeah.
So oftentimes I'll ask questions as well, kind of like separating, allowing you to become more aware of you, free of whatever's there.
Yes.
Right? And that process will often make it more obvious, like what's really going on.
Interesting. Okay. And on your side, like, do you pick up anything as you run that energy? Well, just now, did you feel anything?
Okay, so when I perceive energy, like I do a lot of, I'll hold people's heads in body processes while, if they're in person. And people always are like, what did you feel? And the best way I can describe it is like when too much, let's say the voltage is too high and you just touch something and got like electricity.
Yes.
And it's like too much, too fast. So often, I mean, my clients will be like, what is it? I'll be like, like the feeling is like, there's too much, like I have to shake it off or it's too intense really fast. So when I start it, for example, it's almost like I turn some electrical socket on and then boom, I can feel the energy going. And then I will ask, if I'm doing a longer session, I'll ask like for awareness, what's happening for her? Because I'll sense that turn on and then I will maybe not feel much. And I will ask because the energy is me. So I don't sense the difference between me and the energy. Then I'll ask for awareness, like show me what's going on for her. And I might get pictures or awareness of like what's shifting in your body or what it's working on.
Yeah. Okay. So, but for that little amount of time, it's difficult for you to sort of see any images like with what's going on with me. You need a longer session, right?
Yeah, generally.
Yeah. Okay. That's
and let's say, then I would be asking questions,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's more of a you'll bring stuff up, I'll ask more questions about it, right?
Yeah,
And it'll
nice.
have more to do with what's going on.
Yeah, nice. So we need to do another podcast on the couch. Okay, amazing. Well, before we end, I'm really keen to hear what you're planning for your next step, how you're going to evolve your project, your mission.
So, something I've been doing for years, I lead a group program called Dream Bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually an online group where usually it's on Sundays twice, in the morning and the evening, Amsterdam time. I do a call where people come with their issue, and I like to do facilitation on the spot. So people get direct results, right?
Perfect.
It's often spiritually minded people who really are wanting to create something great. They have big dreams, or they need to figure out why they're getting blocked, or what's stopping their business, or why they are always earning a certain income. So the group is always amazing. Usually people get together in a power group, and so then they call each other as well throughout the week and support each other. So Dream Bigger is something that I keep working on. I'm also always expanding my groups bigger and bigger. I travel quite a bit. I travel to clients. So, I live in Amsterdam, but right now, let's teach a workshop in Thailand in April. It might be Vietnam or Thailand. So I travel a lot. And I also work one-on-one when clients are dealing with cancer or certain issues that they need me, let's say, to be in person.
Right.
I know someday I'll write a book. It's not necessarily coming this year, but it'll come. Also, as I work with my modalities, I'm always refining them, and I love to teach. Because it's great if someone can do it for you, but it's really great when you can do it to yourself, right? So I love to teach people tools, any way that people can create transformation and become more aware of themselves.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
I love that. Well, amazing. I look forward to hearing about, your new projects and maybe joining one of your groups one day. So I'll link all of your Instagram and website in the show notes. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for today. It was so fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for clearing my energetic blocks. I love it. And I'm going to keep you posted with any money or success that comes my way.
Good. Thanks. I love hearing results. So especially people who are listening and they notice something shifting because it's that simple just by listening to the podcast, send a comment. I love to hear about it.
Oh, so
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's been 3 weeks since my interview with Robin. I must say, initially, I felt a little bit disappointed. I was really hoping that almost instantly I was going to have a flood of money pour into my account. And to be honest, it's been more a trickle. However, there have been a few things that I can definitely attribute to my time with her. The first one is, on the day of the interview, my husband comes back from a business meeting and tells me that his business is going really well and that there's going to be some major money coming in. So that was pretty cool. But it wasn't linked to me directly. The next cool thing that happened is I was due to pay my team quite a bit of money, and at the moment I've been pouring a lot into the business and I was a bit worried that I was going to be a bit tight. But just in that moment, boom, I get some unexpected money come in, and it was just enough, just in time. That was pretty cool. The other thing that's happened is abundance more through connections. I've had many synchronicities. I've bumped into guests that I wanted to interview. I've arranged meetings with them and it's gone really, really well. They've been positive about this project and it's really fueled me. The last thing as well is that I've had this amazing connection to my family, and it made me realize that for me, maybe abundance isn't found through money, and maybe happiness isn't found at the bottom of a pot of gold. But maybe it's about my mindset or my ability to connect with others. And it felt like a really interesting lesson of what's really going to serve me. Is it money or is it happiness, connection, opportunity, synchronicity? And I really attribute that to Robin's work. So if you want to check her out, the link is in the website. And if you want to book a session with me, please also check out my website and come meet me. Take care. Until next time.